Okay, so we know that there's still some offset text, which means that one page isn't enough to hold all of our information. So there's a couple of things we need to do before we get started adding another page. Let's go to our Pages panel. Okay, and right now we can actually see that we have one page. But notice how we have this A master that's above it. A master page is simply a way for us to be able to put in attributes or design that we want to carry all the way throughout an article or a newsletter or whatever. Okay, so we're going to double click on this A master, and it's going to give us 2 blank pages right here. Let me close that. And what we want to do is we just want to put a decorative rectangle at the bottom of the page that will show up on both pages of our newsletter. So we want to start by putting in a rectangle, and make sure we have the rectangle tool and not the rectangle frame tool. Remember that there's a difference. We're going to choose the rectangle tool, and we need to, on the left side, create a rectangle that is 8 picas high and extends from the left bleed to, so I can see my height, and when I get to 8 picas, well, I can change that later, but it's going to go from there to there, and then I can use my options. Make sure I have it selected. Whoops. Select. There we go. And the height will be 8p. So the, whoops, what did I type? There we go, 8 pica. Okay, and I do want to move it up so that the bottom edge sits on the bottom margin. Okay, so the width is 48 pica and the height is 8 pica. And I want to go ahead and remove the stroke. Okay, so my stroke color is in front right now, and I want it to be transparent or have none. And then for the fill, I want it to have the CMYK colors of 4, 43, 93, and 0. And that's an orange color. And so if I deselect, I should see that I have no stroke, but I have an orange fill. Okay, and I can see that when I click on it. Now I'm going to deselect by clicking anywhere outside of it, and I'm going to draw a text frame where I'm going to put a page number. So right here I'm getting my text box, and I'm going to go ahead and just draw it right here, and it's going to be approximately 2 picas high. Doesn't have to be precise, but it's pretty close. And I will type in the word page, and space, and then I'm going to put in a secret code. It's not really secret, but a code that allows it to automatically number the pages. So I have to go to the type menu, and it is insert special characters, and it is markers, and then current page number. Now, it did just give me that overset text, which means that my text box isn't wide enough. So I can just drag it out a little bit. Whoops, there we go. And then I want to go ahead and select all the text in there. And I want to change the font to Times New Roman. So I'm going to come up here. and I'll just type in Times New Roman, and it's going to be bold. Okay, and that's the drop-down menu below that. And then the font size is 14. And again, I wound up with not enough space, so I'm going to drag it out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to position this right down there. And notice that my text is aligned to the left of this text box. So it's not only over here at the left margin, but it's also sitting down here towards the bottom. Now we want the same thing on our other master page. We just need to adjust some stuff. So I'm going to select both the orange rectangle and our text box. And I can do that by holding down my shift key and clicking. Or you can do what I just did, which was what we call the marquee select. And if I hold down my option key, look how my mouse changes. There's a black and a white arrow. That means it's allowing me to do a duplicate copy. So I'm just going to drag that one over, and I'm going to make sure that the orange rectangle comes all the way out to the bleed, and make sure that it's sitting at the bottom margin. And then I'm going to move my text box so it goes to the right margin. And then if I double click, I can actually align my text to the right. So now you can see how the text goes to the left and to the right. Okay, pretty easy. All right, now this is where a lot of people wind up making mistakes. They start typing stuff here. This is our master page. Remember, this is what we want to be seen on all of the pages of our document. So now we have to go back to page 1 and look, and you can see that we have that rectangle and the page number at the bottom. And I can't edit it here because it's not on this page. It's on the master page. So what I need to do now is I actually need to add a page for the rest of our text. And we will use our Pages panel for this. And I will add right down here. Actually, I'm going to create 2 new pages. So this is a 3-page document right now. Okay. And if we look up here, see how these are facing pages? This page is on its own. The other 2 are facing pages. We're going to double click so that we can see page 2 of the document. And we need to put in some text frames. So I will use my type tool, and in the left column here, I'm going to go ahead and put in a text box that goes approximately halfway down the page. Okay, and that's approximately. And then I'm going to go ahead and do another one here in the right column that goes about halfway down the page. Now, I need to go back to page 1 because that's where the overset text is. I'm going to use my selection tool and click on that little red overset text box so that I get it on my cursor. I'm going to, I actually can scroll down here to the second page, and I can click in this text box, and you can see that I still have more text. So now I can click in that text box. Now, you'll see that the text is done now. Okay, there is no more text. What's nice is if we actually change the size of this so that the amount of text in each column is very similar. So here we have, after I move it up a little bit, I can move both of them up, and they actually finish on the same side, okay, or same size. So they both right here, they both end right there. And after doing that, I realized that I don't actually need page 3. So I'm going to click on page 3 just to select it, and I'm going to use the trash can here on my Pages panel to delete it. So now I have a page 1 and a page 2. Go ahead and save your file, and we need to save it in a way for you to be able to post it on your Google site. And you'll go to the File menu, choose Export, and we're going to keep it the same name. Down here under Format, though, I want you to choose, and I want you to notice that there's two Adobe PDFs. There's Interactive and there's Print. For what we're doing right now, Print is fine, but if we ever embedded a movie or an animation, then we would want to choose Interactive. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and choose Print. It makes a smaller file size. Go ahead and hit Save, Export, and you will then have a PDF file that you can update to your Google site.